Stamford Bridge, the iconic home of Chelsea Football Club. A fortress steeped in history, it's one of the oldest football grounds in the country, a site where Chelsea have played since our formation in 1905. The birth of a sporting arena. Voiceover, but the stadium's story begins much earlier. The bridge first opened its doors as a sporting arena on April 28, 1877. For its first 27 years, it wasn't football that dominated, but the popular Victorian pursuit of athletics meetings, hosted by the London Athletic Club. The ground's destiny changed in 1904 when brothers Henry Augustus, Gus Mears and J.T. Mears acquired the deeds. They saw the future in a newer sport sweeping the nation, football. They commissioned renowned Scottish architect Archibald Leach to design their new arena on the 12.5-acre site. The initial capacity was vast, planned for 100,000 spectators. It was designed as a massive, open bowl, with a characteristic 120-yard-long stand on the east side to hold 5,000 fans. The high terracing was built with thousands of tons of material excavated from the construction of the Piccadilly Line Underground Railway. Interestingly, the stadium was first offered to nearby Fulham FC, but they turned it down. So, instead, a new side was born in March 1905, Chelsea Football Club. They moved into Stamford Bridge a few months later. It was an instant success, a 60,000 crowd in the first year, promotion to Division 1 after 2 seasons, and it hosted 3 FA Cup finals between 1920 and 1922. Unlocking the name, Stamford Bridge. Why the name Stamford Bridge? While the name has great significance in English history, the site of a successful battle against the Vikings in Yorkshire in 1066, the stadium's name is purely local. 18th century maps show a stream called the Stanford Creek running behind the present-day East Stand. Where it crossed Fulham Road, it was marked a Little Chelsea Bridge, originally called Stamford Bridge, from Sand Ford. A bridge on the King's Road was called Stambridge, from Stone Bridge. These names and the creek's name evolved together into Stamford Bridge, and finally, the adopted name of the stadium, Stamford Bridge. Evolution and the shed? The stadium remained largely the same until the 1930s when the southern terrace gained a partial roof. Ironically, this structure, which would become famously known as the Shed End, was commissioned by the Greyhound Racing Association, who held dog races on the track around the pitch, to cover bookmakers and bettors. Decades later, a supporter's letter in the matchday program called for the terrace to be formally known as the Shed to create a vocal gathering place. It worked, and the stand that replaced the old terrace in 1997 still proudly bears the Shed name today. In 1939, the North End also gained an unusual addition. A new construction was opened in 1945, raised on stilts over the northeast corner. Some fans even reported it shook when trains passed. It survived for 30 years until the massive new East Stand opened. A decade of change and near disaster. The 1960s and 70s were a time of major change. A new, fairly modest West Stand arrived in 1965. It featured pillars supporting the roof and 6 rudimentary hospitality boxes, making the bridge the second ground after Old Trafford to offer such facilities. Then came the ambitious redevelopment of the East Stand. Designed to be the beginning of a stunning, 60,000 all-seater arena, the project was riddled with poor decisions and economic woes. It was delivered late and over budget in 1974, crippling the club financially. It brought Chelsea to its knees, leading to the sale of star players and a close encounter with bankruptcy. Despite this troubled start, its design brought fans closer to the pitch, and the East Stand remains the oldest part of the stadium today. The worst was yet to come. In the early 1980s, under new owner Ken Bates, the club faced a decade-long, bitter fight to keep its home. The land had been sold to property developers, with the terrifying possibility of the stadium being replaced by housing or a supermarket. The Save the Bridge campaign was born. The crisis was averted by an ironic twist: a collapse in the property market forced the developers into bankruptcy. In 1992, Chelsea Football Club finally got its ground back. The modern arena. With the ground secured, the transition to an all-seater stadium began in earnest. The new 2-tier North Stand, now the Matthew Harding Stand, opened in 1994. The shed end was redeveloped, and the massive, final piece of the puzzle, the huge 13,500-seater West Stand, was completed for the start of the 2001-2002 campaign. Today, the capacity stands at around 40,000. The huge oval shape has been transformed into a tight, modern ground with all four sides close to the pitch. The 12.5-acre site now includes 2 four-star hotels, restaurants, and a host of other facilities. Stamford Bridge has come a long, long way, but it remains what it has been since 1905, the true heart of Chelsea Football Club.